Hello, hello, hello. What's all this then? Hello, welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2024-25 season. My name is Dan. And I'm here with a plan. That's not what I say. I don't even know what... My name is Dan. Hello, everyone. How are you? It's Friday. It's a Friday deadline. I quite like a Friday deadline. I don't know about you guys. It makes a nice change of pace. And we certainly are going to have a change of pace over the next couple of weeks, aren't we? I think it's a hat kind of day. Looking at the old hair, it's a hat kind of day. Yeah, it's definitely a change of pace. Friday deadline followed by a Tuesday deadline next week. Those game weeks coming in thick and fast, but I absolutely love it. It's not great from like a content creation point of view because you've got just stuff to do non-stop. But like in terms of actually playing the game of FPL, like if you're having a good week, you get to keep the momentum going with thick and fast game weeks. If you're having a bad week, well, it's like no problem. The next game week's just a couple of game weeks away. No problem. We'll bounce back. We will bounce back. It's great. It's great. Karaya also, is saying in the chat, Tuesday. Yes, that is how we Brits say the word. What do you say in America? Tuesday. It's Tuesday, everyone. Hey, it's the Tuesday deadline. Don't forget it. You'll regret it. The Tuesday deadline. Tuesday. It's the correct way of saying it, my friends. Now, Premier League is in England, and in England we say we have proper Tuesdays in England, so we do. So we do. Loads of questions today. I think it's gonna be a big one for questions. I think there's like loads of players that everyone seems to want right now, like a lot. Particularly the attackers. Like everyone wants to get in on Joao Pedro, Cunha, Saka, Salah if you don't have him already. What about Jackson or maybe Isaac potentially there as well? Some people talk about Mbermo. Interesting. It's certainly. It's a mad time. It seems like the time of FPL has become even madder because we're making so many transfers. Like transfers have gone crazy this week, man. Honestly, absolutely wild. But anyway, let's see who we've got in the chat. Any members in the chat? Do let me know if you are here so I can say a good day to you all. I can see Mark is in the chat. Mark Consiglio says, hey Dan, should I sell Konate to Simba for a -4 or sell Raul to Joao Pedro and bench Konate for 1 week? I don't know if I would take a -4 to sell Raul to Pedro. I think the problem is with Konate, and we are going to go through all of the team news today because we obviously didn't have time to do a final decisions video today. Konate, it's not looking good, Brev. We'll put something in the bottom bar. Just want to verify. But I believe it's 6 to 8 weeks for Konate out. He's going to be out for quite some time. Yeah, is what I saw earlier. He's going to be out for basically until the new year. So Konate is just a player to sell at this point. I don't know if I'd do it for a -4. If you have something that can cover on the bench, then I'd maybe just use your bench cover, to be honest. You can see Dan in the chat says, I have Konate with 3 free transfers. What should I do? He's a sell. He's a sell, isn't he? It's 5 to 6 weeks. Okay. So yeah, we're still looking out. 5 to 6 weeks in game weeks is like, what, 8 or 9 game weeks? Jeremy Baker says that's about 10 games or so. Yeah, man, it's crazy. In terms of who's going to be playing instead of Konate, I think a lot of Liverpool fans seem to think it's going to be Gomez primarily, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Kwanzaa get the occasional game. I don't know if I'd want to go there, to be honest. I don't know if I'd want to go towards either of those players, really. MQF Mohammed says, hey Dan, what's your wildcard draft for this game? We haven't got one. We can make one though. We've got a couple of hours till deadline, so we can certainly do a few bits and bobs today. Who to buy instead of Konate? We'll go through that. We'll go through that as well, so stick with me. There is a lot to talk about today, so we are going to try and cover it all. I do want to cover the team news stuff first of all, however. But yes, just to give you an update on Konate, it's not looking good at all. Like, yeah, he's probably out for until the new year. So he's a sell. Konate is just a sell. Maybe not for a hit if you have cover. If you don't have cover, then yeah, a hit. Or, you know, if you really like another defender, then maybe. But outside of Timber, assuming you already have Gabriel and Timber, probably Timber this week. Those are the kind of guys I'd be looking to go for. Right, come on then. Let's get going. Actually, any other members in the chat? Jeremy's here as well. What's up, Jeremy? Righty-ho. Let's get going. Let's get going. Because, well, this is my team anyway. I think I'm locked. No transfers for me this week. Salah captain, Palmer vice captain. Not going to overthink this one. Salah, great form. Man City, terrible defensive form. Awful. Useless. So, yeah, I'm just going to captain Salah at home. I think it makes sense. I previously would have maybe been tempted by a Palmer or a Saka or maybe Joao Pedro as an outside bet, but generally speaking, I think City have just been too bad, man. Too bad. Yeah, we will do a wildcard draft, guys. Don't you worry. I want to go through team news first because this is obviously relevant. So, because we're doing this stream a little later than usual, we have actually got the Fantasy Football Hub article for team news. So, we can go through here. Guys, make sure you are checking out Fantasy Football Hub if you haven't done already. Second link in the description, and you can get 30 days free trial, and you get all the good stuff like this. So, Arsenal team news. So, here are the quotes about Gabriel. We don't know the extent of the problem. I was about to make a change for Sterling, but I couldn't. I had to make other ones. And then today, Arteta says, we will wait and see on Gabriel. A few of them weren't able to train yesterday, but hopefully they'll be able to today. So it's like, it's typical Arteta not giving us any information. I mean, why should he, to be fair? But yeah, if you're looking for straight answers on any injured Arsenal player, we should learn by now you're just not going to get it. Like, just accept it. It is part of the deal with Arsenal players. If there's injury doubts, you're not going to know about it. But what we do often see with Arsenal is that if there is any injury doubt, it's often just for show and the player ends up playing anyway. So I'm personally not worried about Gabriel. Just start him. If he doesn't play, then, you know, you get your first defender off the bench potentially there. I think that is more worthwhile than using any transfers because Gabriel is going to be a player you want in future game weeks. The injury, from what we know, is not significant. It was muscle tightness and it was all the way on Tuesday? Yeah, sorry to say Tuesday again. But it's all the way back on Tuesday. And Arsenal don't play again until tomorrow evening. So actually, it's quite a nice little gap there between fixtures. Good recovery period for Gabriel. So I'm personally not concerned about the fitness of Gabriel. I think he should play. This is the predicted lineup from Fantasy Football Hub. So Havertz up front, Martinelli, Ødegaard and Saka in behind, Rice and Thomas playing a bit deeper, Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber and Raya. Pretty much best 11, right? So there's your Arsenal team news. Should be fine. We know Ben White is going to be out for quite some time, so no update necessary there. For Aston Villa, let's see here. So Ramsey, of course, is going to remain out, but Onana, it depends how he is progressing. And tomorrow, whether he can train or not, we will see. And we did see that Kamara and Konza were back in the Villa squad for the 0-0 draw with Juventus. So that is worth noting. We should probably see Kamara and Konza back in the squad, which is very, very beneficial for Aston Villa. Should really shore them up defensively. If Onana is back as well, even better. So, pretty good news on Aston Villa. Unless you own Chelsea attackers, in which case that's probably bad news. For Bournemouth, it's just Semenyo suspended. Everyone who's already injured is still injured, so no change there. Noteworthy FPL picks. We're obviously going to have no Semenyo this week. Evan Nilsson should play, as should Kirkes. And I think that's probably the majority of FPL relevant Bournemouth players here. For Brentford, right, so once again, we're expecting Mbeumo out on the wing with Wissa in the central areas. Is there any real change to team news here? Aya and Nunez unavailable. Norgard is back. His red card was successfully appealed. And everything is looking reasonably same as before, to be honest, with Brentford. Yeah, no real changes for Brentford. For Brighton, we have got Milner and Webster out. Kadioglu Apparently it has some potential to come back, but I don't think it's super likely. Dunk is back though, which is good. So we'll see if Dunks plays or not. I'm not convinced he will come back into the starting 11 straight away. Hub seems to agree. Igor and Van Hecker as the two centre-backs here. But like, I know some people are interested in Dunk. I would be a little concerned about that this week. I know a lot of people are interested in Estupinian, but when Lamptey and Kadioglu are back, which is very soon, within the next week, and with the midweek game week next week for Brighton, I would not personally be looking to touch Estupinian with a 10-foot barge pole. So no, for those of you, I can see in the chat already, people are asking about Estupinian. I would not be going there. Van Hecker, if you really want a defender this week from Brighton, Van Hecker would be the player I would go for. Tiny bit of attacking threat there, but he has got that nailedness from Gameweek 13. So straight away, you're going to get that nailedness from Van Hecker. He is the defender to go for. And if I'm not mistaken, he's only 4.5, right? Let's just double check that real quick, because we don't want to be making any silly mistakes on the stream. Where are you, Van Hecker? 4.5. Yeah, cheap. Not much attacking threat. Probably not going to get too many bonus points there either. But if you really do want a Brighton defender, he is probably your guy. I prefer Bruggen as Brighton defensive cover right now. But if it's the defender you're looking for, Van Hecker is the only one who's really safe for minutes. And minutes are king. Minutes are going to be king right now over this busy December period. So, yeah, be aware of that one. As for Chelsea. So Gusto and Neto are ready for the weekend. Both have trained. Both are available. Okay, Gusto and Neto back, which means Gusto at right back, Neto at left wing, Jackson up front, Palmer in the middle, Madueke on the right. A midfield, suspected midfield of Enzo and Caicedo once again. And Colwill, I guess, is another FPL relevant player. Sanchez likely to keep his spot in net for Chelsea. So there we have it. Right, Crystal Palace. Eze's going to be back in the team, which is good news for Palace after his injury. So Glasner has revealed that both Eberechi Eze and Eddie Nketiah will be available to face Newcastle. Though I have to say, yes, Nketiah will be back, but I think Ismail Assar will keep his position in this Crystal Palace team. Other players are coming back. Some players have had one more week of training after returning from injury. So this week was very positive. Good stuff. So we're going to have players like, who was previously injured? Wharton potentially back. Could see Wharton return very, very soon. And can't really remember who else has been injured recently for Crystal Palace. Few players. Decore Lerma, they've had some problems, haven't they? Crystal Palace been playing with a bit of a makeshift midfield and defence, but it looks like they are near enough back to full strength now, which is very positive. Yeah, just okay. Has Wharton been ruled out? I don't know if Wharton has been ruled out, but I know he is on course to return very soon. For Everton, still no Keane. But I think that's just going to be the case for the rest of the season now. Branthwaite and Tarkovsky, the centre-backs. McNeil, Calvert-Lewin. Anyone still own these players? Maybe. Think we can move on. So, Broja and Chamiti getting minutes for the under-21s. Coleman's back on grass, but a little bit too early there. So, not too much relevant stuff for FPL there. Got a super chat here from Sin, who says, Edison to Verbruggen for a hit. Oh, I don't know if I love that. Goalkeeper transfers and, to be fair, goalkeepers and defender transfers for a hit. If you've got a playing goalkeeper, I don't think it's worth it. Mr. Sightmaster says, isn't Veltman better than Van Hecker for 0.1 more? I see no reason why he would be. Veltman is probably more minutes risk than Van Hecker. Has no more attacking threat. Just because he plays as a right back doesn't mean he has attacking threat in this current Brighton system. So, yeah, I see absolutely no benefit. Only negatives, really, for going for Veltman above Van Hecker. So, not keen on that. I can see people asking about selling players, Lewis to Van Hecker for a -4. No. As I just kind of mentioned, -4s for defenders is very rarely worth it. I mean, let's go through just to show you kind of the situation here. The top point scorers this season, none of them are defenders. You've got Van Dijk in here, who has been picking up some points, mostly earlier on in the season, to be fair. We maybe have, like, I don't know, who else is here? Gabriel with a couple of goals. But outside of that, all of the big scoring players every week are always attackers, and defenders are, well, with very rare exceptions, every couple of game weeks you get like a Joao Pedro, a Pedro Porro every like 4 game weeks that will go nuts. But outside of that, it's the attackers that are scoring points. So -4s for defenders, particularly selling defenders who are perfectly fine and will play at least semi regularly. Lewis is an example of that. If it's like a Konate and he's going to be out for the next 10 game weeks, then I definitely understand taking a -4 to remove Konate. But Lewis, or, you know, people are talking about selling Gabriel just because there's a small chance he's out for this week, and you want to take a -4 to sell him for a defender who, no matter who you pick, whether you think it's an awesome defender like, I don't know, Lewis or Ike Nori or Kirkes, you know, these players are probably going to score 1 or 2 points this week. There's a chance they get something more than that. But, you know, if you're placing bets right now, all of these defenders that you're talking about bringing in, even your Van Hecker, you know, they're probably going to score a fat 2-pointer or a 1-pointer. So it's just not worth it for a -4 to do so. Not worth it, in my opinion. Konate is maybe a different case, but if you can hold off on that transfer a little bit and it doesn't disrupt other transfers too much, then you could maybe just bench him if you have some cover there. Yeah, Konate is the only defender I would be really, really keen to sell. What's wrong with Konate? We'll get to Liverpool. Don't you worry. And I'll put, you know what? I'll put FPL relevant stuff in the ticker as well. So far, a lot of people are asking about Gabriel. So I guess the truth is no update on Gabriel. No clear update on. But we'll be fine, in my opinion. There we go. So there's a Gabriel update in the chat for you there. Not in the chat, in the ticker. Anyway, so Harrison, Anderson, and Cuenca are out for Fulham, which means Bassi probably comes into the defensive areas. And that's pretty much it. Bog standard Fulham lineup for their game against Spurs. Ipswich, we can rush through this. Phillips and Johnson could get a return this weekend. Hurst is out. And Al-Hamadi could come back as well. For Leicester, Buonanotte is back following suspension, which is big. Winks is the only injured player, apparently. No new manager yet. Van Nistelrooy is coming soon, we think, but right now it's going to be interim, caretaker manager Ben Dawson going to be taking charge of Leicester this weekend against Brentford. Could there be a new manager bounce, or or an interim manager or a caretaker manager bounce, if there is any such thing? Who knows? Right, Liverpool. This is where things get a little bit interesting. So, Arne Slot reported that Konate and Bradley are to be assessed after Wednesday's clash with Real Madrid. I know where they have pain, but how bad or good, it is difficult to judge so close after the game. I'm really hoping both will be available to play because we want them all available. But if not, someone else has to step up. It has since emerged that Konate could be out for 5 to 6 weeks, although this is unconfirmed. But Trent is available. So let's throw this information straight into the ticker. So, Konate reported to be out for 5 to 6 weeks. Sell. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to write sell. That's down to user discretion. And Trent is available. Cool. So, there you go. Konate, 5 to 6 weeks is what we're looking at here. Could be out for a little while. Still no Allison. Probably going to be Gomez coming in defence rather than Kwanzaa. We did mention that earlier. Does Konate being absent affect Salah in any way? Not in any direct way, really, no. The link-up play between Konate and Salah is not particularly significant, so I don't think so. Jamie says, don't buy Trent this week, Dan. Don't worry, Jamie. I was not planning on it, but if you guys want to buy Trent, I mean, I don't think it's a terrible move. I probably wouldn't do it this week against City, but no, I'm open to the idea of buying Trent in the coming game weeks. Although it has to be said, Konate does dent that a little bit. He really does. So there you go. Right, any Konate related questions whilst we're here before we move on? Throw them in the chat. Should I play Trent or bench? I would play him. I think I would play him, depending on who you've got on your bench. But I doubt you've got too many better players than Trent to play ahead of him. Any other Liverpool-related questions? Jamie says, I was talking to Dan in the chat. Oh, okay. Would you sell Konate to Gabriel for a -4 if it meant selling Watkins or Wood to Joao Pedro? Yeah, I would. And I'd do it to Joao Pedro. Yeah, I quite like that. Konate to Gabriel, Watkins to Joao Pedro. Like it. Mason says, Konate replacement. Number 1... Jurrien Timber. If you can afford Gabriel and you don't have him, maybe. In the same price class, yeah, it's Timber for me. And I would possibly do that for a -4 as well. Outside of that, there's not many players I'd take a -4 to remove Konate for. But I would be looking at Aït-Nouri. I'd be looking at Kirkes. I'd be looking at Hall. Maybe Konsa, probably not, to be honest. Not this week against Chelsea. You could go for a Chelsea defender like Colwill if you wanted to, but I think I like Hall, Aït-Nouri and Kirkes for those cheaper options. But Jurrien Timber is my favourite. By Gabriel or Timber, if you can afford Gabriel without taking any additional hits, then I would go for Gabriel. I think Gabriel is first priority defender in general in FPL. But certainly Timber is a great option as well. So there you go. There's a few Konate replacements. I would do it. A doggy for Konate? No. I wouldn't buy any Spurs defenders whilst they have no Vicario. No, and also we'll get to Spurs shortly, but Van de Ven is still out for weeks. Van de Ven's target is now by the new year. So Van de Ven is another player who could be out for like 6-7 game weeks. It's a long time out for Van de Ven here. And Romero, even here, is not confirmed fit for this weekend. So that trifecta of goalkeeper and 2 centre-backs not looking good for Spurs. So I would be very, very cautious before investing in those Spurs defenders. Van Hecke is... Yeah, sorry, Charles. Yeah, Van Hecke is another option. I don't think I'd take a -4, though. If you have something on your bench, outside of Gabriel and Timber, I would not take a -4 to sell Konate. Unless you just need to get it done because it's really going to affect your transfer plans. Maybe you just need to bite the bullet and take a -4. But do not expect it to pay off this week. It probably won't, no matter who you go for. Let's continue on. We've covered Konate a little bit. We've gone through some suggestions. Let's continue on. Ruled out Alisson, Jota and Chiesa, and doubtful we have Tsimikas, Bradley and Konate. We've spoken about these guys. Right, Man City up next. A few returnees for them, I believe. So Bob, Rodri and Kovacic are still out. No direct answers from Guardiola, but we also have Doku and Stones, potential injury doubts. But yeah, it's just going to be pretty much a similar thing to last game week where really Man City do not have defensive midfielders. Lewis, Gundogan, Bernardo, these are not defensive midfielders. So it's going to be a tricky one for them. Gvardiol and Walker seem to be out of form at the moment. It's not looking great for Man City this week, but a positive thing for Man City is that Liverpool are also missing a couple of players this week, so maybe that opens things up a little bit. For Manchester United, so interesting in midweek. Harry Maguire is out, by the way. Lindelof, Manu and Euro are doubtful, but this is kind of the predicted lineup. Scott says, "Hi Dan, do price changes occur at a fixed time?" Yes, they do, Scott. 1:30 a.m. UK time every day. Every day. And then it changes when daylight saving changes. But anyway, back to Manchester United. Hopefully that answers your question, Scott. I don't know what time zone you're in, but 1:30 a.m. UK. And maybe, or is it GMT right now? Yeah, GMT. So I'm sure you can figure out your own time zone from there. And that happens every day. Cool. Right, Manchester United. So, interestingly, Bruno playing a little bit deeper in the midweek game. Don't know if that happens again, necessarily. Because what we've seen so far from the Amorim Man United is that they are genuinely struggling defensively. They look weaker defensively than they did before. And I think that's to be expected. They were a pretty negative team under I was about to say Louis van Gaal. That's going back a while. Why have I forgotten the name of Man United's last manager? People screaming in the chat, I'm sure. But I need to figure this out on my own. I've forgotten the reason. What was the last match? What? I'm drawing a blank here. Ten Hag. Duh. Ten Hag. Right. Anyway. So, yeah, that potentially means that Ugarte, Manu midfield comes in for this game week, potentially there. Although Everton, not exactly, known for their attacking prowess. But this is a very similar system to what we saw last week. We've got Martinez in here instead of Evans, which I think is an improvement. But yeah, Rashford on the left, Højlund in the middle, Bruno on the right. I can see it. I can see this prediction coming to fruition. It's difficult though because of the new manager and a new manager who is known for his rotation. I think it's difficult to really say who will be playing and where they'll be playing. I can see Ahmad playing further forward. I can see Rashford or Højlund dropping out. I can see maybe Shaw getting some minutes in here somewhere. We could see Bruno midfield, like we mentioned. We could see Casemiro playing. So we don't know. It's a tricky one with Man United. But I think good news overall for team news seems to be that Man United are getting a lot of players back. For Newcastle, we saw Wilson, the return of Wilson on Monday. I'm not sure if he's going to be starting necessarily. I think Isak has probably got that striker role sewn up. Maybe Wilson comes on towards the end of games if something needs to change. But apparently Bruno Guimaraes and Joe Willock have a chance to play. Not serious injury, so we'll make a decision today. Dan Burn returns after serving his one-game suspension. And Wilson and Trippier came through their cameos unscathed against West Ham on Monday. Kraft, Lascelles and Botman remain out. Nottingham Forest. Let's whiz through this. So, we will see tomorrow. We have to assess the players and see how they are. They are improving. Alanga was in a lot of pain when he was replaced last weekend. The winger will face a late fitness test to be involved this weekend. Danilo and Sangare ruled out, and Anderson, Aina, Gibbs-White and Alanga are all doubtful. Bad news for Aina owners, I suppose. I know a lot of people have been knee-jerking in Aina over the last couple of weeks. I suppose we are just so desperate for defenders, people will go anywhere for any price. Anyway, looking at Southampton, so we still have Ramsdale and Bednarek out. Still no Stuart, Smallbone, Lallana. Onuachu is a knock. And this is kind of the predicted lineup to face up against Brighton this weekend. So Fraser there in the fullback position. Fernandes, who scored last weekend against Liverpool, again in the lineup. Interesting stuff. For Spurs, yeah, gets a bit tricky here because I'm not sure how the Spurs midfield is going to look like. But they're playing against Fulham this week. Hub is predicting Son, Solanke, Johnson with Maddison and Kulusevski in behind. But what we saw last week was Kulusevski played on the right wing and Maddison played in the midfield alongside Bissouma and Sarr. Was it Sarr? But anyway, so Ange Postecoglou confirmed that Dominic Solanke is fit and that Christian Romero is close to a return. So from this night, at this stage, we have a clean bill of health. I think everything is all right from last night. Solanke is fine. Richarlison is out until the new year. It is unlikely, but Christian Romero is the closest to a return. Probably unlikely, but I'm not ruling him out. He has got to get through some things today and a session tomorrow. And aside from that, what we basically know is that Forster is going to be playing in goal instead of Vicario whilst he's out. And Van der Ven still a while out. So Forster, Davis, Dragusin probably doesn't fill you with confidence. And therefore, I would not really be looking to buy a doggy on Pedro Porro this week. Or even the cheap defenders, really. Bruno in the chat says, Konate out, Kwanzaa is only 3.9. Mr. Joe Gomez might have something to say about that one. Anyway, West Ham up next. Whizzing through these. So, still no Kudus, of course. So, Somerville on the left, Bowen on the right. Maybe there. Everything else looks pretty similar. Todibo did pick up a knock. But apparently Lopetegui is positive. They can be available. So good news, I suppose, on Todibo. Alvarez is going to be back following his ban. But Arsenal are probably going to put these lot to the sword. Thought they defended quite poorly first half against Newcastle and at some points in the second half as well. Although I'm sure West Ham fans won't like me saying that. As for Wolves, so Hub predicting a wing-back situation again with Ait Nouri on that left-hand side. Cunha and Sarabia behind Strand Larsen. So, update on players returning from injuries. Sarabia, Dawson and Bueno are available. They've had a decent amount of training this week. It's a big boost for us. The Wolves boss was also asked whether Matheus Cunha could leave in January. Cunha won't leave in January, definitely not. Zero concern from my part. Our relationship and his understanding of what we're trying to do here is exceptionally good. So I don't foresee there being any problems with him leaving in January. He does look too good for Wolves, though, doesn't he? Get a decent price for him. So there you go. That is all of the team news that we have this week. Ta-da! Brilliant stuff. Any further questions, chaps, before we move on from team news? Well, we'll do little bits of team news throughout the rest of the stream. But is there any other team news related questions? If so, do let me know. It seems like loads of people are asking about who should I take a hit for. Should I take a hit for this player? Jack Daniels says Lewis to either Timber or Gabriel for a -4. Yeah, Timber or Gabriel, I would consider taking a -4 for, yeah. I would consider that. But just don't expect it to pay off. Wardville says, hi Dan, I have Gvardiol and looking to move him out for a -4. Is that a good idea? No. Generally speaking, unless you're getting an Arsenal defender, I would not be taking a -4 to replace perfectly good defenders. I really don't feel it. Anderson's injury, the Fulham Joachim Anderson is out this week, most likely. So bad news here. Who of Timber and Gabriel? Gabriel was the priority, then Timber. But if you are worried about Gabriel this week, I'm personally not. But if you are worried about Gabriel, then go for Timber. Will Greaves start? Is he in the predicted lineup? Ipswich. Yeah, he's in the predicted lineup. Yeah, I don't think there's reason why he wouldn't start. Will Eze start? I think Eze would start. Yep, he's available now. So that's good. Wood to Pedro. No way. No way, Rob. Wood is one of the best picks for this game week. He's one of the best picks for game week 13. There's no way I'd be selling him. No way. So many transfer related. All right, let's do transfers then. Okay, I think we're done with team news. You guys are asking transfer related questions. Let's see if we can answer as many of you guys as possible, and then we'll do some polls. We'll do the bench list. Let's do some transfer-related questions first for maybe the next 15 minutes, 20 minutes. We'll see how we go. See how in-depth the conversation becomes. Okay, so Dan in the chat says, Isak to Cunha. Nope, nothing wrong with Isak. Best defenders for a free hit. I would double up on Arsenal, so I'd go Gabriel and Timber. And then I would pick one more. And that would probably be... man, there's not a lot of good options. Maybe Lewis Hall for this week on a free hit. Hopefully that helps. Isak or Jackson. I like Jackson this week, to be fair. But I think they're both great. The yellow card situation worries me a little bit with Jackson. I think overall, I prefer Isak personally, but there's nothing wrong with Jackson either. Nothing wrong with him. It's not to say he's a bad pick. Jackson or Cunha, I would make Cunha my priority over Jackson. How long is Konate out for? We think 5 to 6 weeks, which let's put that into the context of FPL. 5 to 6 weeks would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably 8 game weeks. 8 game weeks is a lot of time to be out for. So I know it doesn't sound like a lot of time, but in the Christmas period, 8 game weeks, that's a lot. So Konate, we think around 8 game weeks. That's how long. Start Gabriel and Aina. I have both. Yeah, definitely start them. Definitely give them a go. No reason to not do it. Cole says captain choice. Experts say Palmer. AI says Palmer. And Bookie says Joao Pedro. Why the difference? Okay, the AI, which is based on analytical data, takes sometimes a little while longer to catch up on most recent data, and is assuming that Man City are still at least an okay defense. So that's kind of rules Salah out from the algorithm captains, I suppose. Although I do believe it's fairly close. It depends what algorithm you're using. But if we look at Hub, Salah is ahead of Palmer for AI predictions. It goes Salah, Palmer, Wood, Saka, then Haaland in 5th for your captain this week. Bookies do indeed say Joao Pedro. For goals, anyway. It says Joao Pedro for goals. I think if you adjust it... I mean, let's see the Rob T Bookies data, which is always interested. So... this one is probably better because it considers FPL points and goal projections, which actually puts Palmer slightly ahead of Joao Pedro. So actually, like, there isn't a difference there, really. Bookies have, in FPL points terms, bookies have Palmer. AI algorithms, a lot of them have Palmer very high up as well. So Palmer is backed by a lot, really. Palmer's really backed this game week. So, yeah, it could be that he is the best captain. I certainly don't mind him as a captain. He's my second favourite. So, yeah, Carl, I don't know if there is too much of a difference there, really, because when we adjust the bookies numbers for FPL points, Palmer comes out on top again. So, no real difference there. Rory with the super chat here says, should I sell Fernandes to fund the upgrade from Strand Larsen to Cunha? If so, who is a good midfield option? I don't think I would, no. Not for a hit, anyway. Fernandes is fine for this week. Of course, you'd prefer to have Cunha, but that doesn't mean Strand Larsen is a bad pick. It seems a little wasteful to use 2 transfers to make those moves. I mean, if you don't have Joao Pedro, then just do Strand Larsen to Joao Pedro. I actually think Pedro is the better pick than Cunha this week. So I would be looking to go there, actually. So, yes. Yes, I would do Strand Larsen to Joao Pedro, but I wouldn't be making multiple transfers to try and squeeze Cunha in instead. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Best McNeil replacement. Salah, Palmer and Saka are honestly the best the best in that regards. Bench DCL or Rodgers? We'll get to the bench list later, but I would probably bench Calvert-Lewin. Probably. Is Dunk available? Yes, he is, but he's not guaranteed to start. Did he drop to... I don't think he dropped to 4.3 either, did he? Or did he? Am I mistaken? Let's see here. If he didn't drop to 4.3, then I would just go for Van Hecker, to be honest. No, he didn't drop. Yeah. So probably not worthwhile. Should I captain Saka or Joao Pedro? Yes, sure. Go ahead. I probably prefer Saka. Joao Pedro or Jackson? I prefer Joao Pedro. Johnson to Palmer for a -4 hit. Yep, I like that. I like that. List of best Konate replacements. We did already do that, but basically Gabriel, Timber, if possible. If not, Hull, Aït-Nouri, Kirkes. Maybe Van Hecker. Is Van Hecker a good start? Yeah, he's good for a start. He's certainly good to play if you fancy a Brighton defender. Captain Isak, I don't think I'd go there. Start Verbruggen or Flecken. Verbruggen, easy. Easy. Do not let Flecken's 1 clean sheet in 2 years against Everton deceive you. Do not. Tell me, is Rodgers worth bringing in because of the fixtures? Not this week, no. I wouldn't be bringing in Rodgers this week. Is Van Hecker bad long term? I mean, no, he's good for minutes. He's good for minutes for the rest of the season. So if it's just minutes you're after, then he's fine. I don't actually know how many clean sheets Brighton will actually keep. I don't think there's really such thing as a good defender in FPL right now, outside of Gabriel and Timber. They're the only 2 good defenders, in my opinion. So, yeah, go with whatever you want there. I'm not going to do Konate replacements again because we seem to be doing that every 5 minutes. You'll have to wait another 10 minutes before. Wei Lang says, Fantasy Football Hub is a scam. It's a useless fake AI, worst AI in all categories. The content creators who advertise Fantasy Football Hub are also scammers. Wow. We found the Fantasy Football Scout employee trying to spread some propaganda. Interesting one. Let's hide you from the channel because you're just wrong. You are just simply wrong. Nice try, though. Dan, who is your captain? My captain is Salah. Should we do a poll? Should we do a captain poll? See where you guys are at. Who deserves to be in the poll, though? That's the question. Right, let's go. Who is the best Gameweek 13 captain? We'll put Salah in. We'll definitely put Palmer in. The third choice is a little more difficult. Who else should be in here? Like, some people will probably say Mbermo. Let's go. Okay, Saka. I think I probably would say that Salah, Palmer, Saka would be my top 3. But I'm sure there are many others that people will be liking the look of. Such, I've seen you guys in the chat already saying Mbermo. Yep. 1 shot in 3 game weeks Mbermo. So let's see, guys. We'll put the poll in the chat. I know there's loads of other options this week, so do feel free to vote other if you are going for a little something different this week. Phil with an F says 3 free transfers: Haaland to Joao Pedro, Rico to Timbers, Rodgers to Saka. Saka captain as differential. Thoughts? Phil, I like that. For 3 free transfers, I think that is very, very good use of 3 free transfers. I like it a lot, my friend. I like that a lot. Well played. Very, very well played. Mark says, was on Palmer, but have decided to play it safe and captain the Egyptian King and try not to risk my rank. Fair play, honestly. Cunha captain, says Mario. I can see why people would captain Cunha after last game week, but I don't think he's the best captain this week. I don't think he's even really top 5. But that's fair. Matt says no shout for Pedro captain when he's against Southampton at home. Yeah, there's a shout for it. I mentioned him earlier. I mentioned him a few times during this stream as a potential differential captain, but he is going to have to go in the other category. because he is another. I do think captaining Joao Pedro is reasonable. Yes, it's not it's not like a super sensible way of playing FPL, but you know, being sensible doesn't always yield results. So yeah, I don't think there's any problem with captaining Joao Pedro really, other than it's a little risky. But if you're happy to take on that risk, then yeah, it's a good time to play a risk like that for sure. Lots of people liking Pedro. Nicholas says Captain Wissa. You could do. You could do. I think it's not too bad either. I certainly prefer captaining Wissa over Mbermo right now because Mbermo is just so uninvolved at the moment. It's crazy. Let me get up his stats. All right, Mbermo. So, let's look 5 game weeks maybe. And go goal threat here. So this is in 5 game weeks, 6 shots. 1 wasn't a shot. It was a cross that found the back of the net, and the other one was a penalty. So open play actual shots, 4 in 5 game weeks, 1 in the last 3. 0.26 non-penalty XG in 5 game weeks. This isn't per game. If you want to go per appearance, then he's getting 0.05 non-penalty XG per game week and 0.2 shots in the box per game week. And that includes his penalties. Like, it is crazy how uninvolved Mbermo is right now. So I'm going to put it out there. I am happy to be against captaining Mbermo this week. I'm not saying that he hasn't got a chance, because it's a good fixture against Leicester. It's a good fixture. But I thought if you're going for a captain, I want a good fixture and good form. I want both. And it's like ordinarily I might be like, oh yeah, it's a good fixture. He's a good player. Let's just go for it. But the fact is there is so many other good players in good form with good fixtures. So it's like you don't need to go for an Mbermo. Even Wissa, he's in better form than Mbermo right now. His numbers since coming back from injury are really, really nice. 0.57 non-penalty XG per appearance. Really nice. Much better. Noel with a super chat says, hello, it's been a while. Haven't been up to date with the footy. So, having a crap season. -4 for Semenyo to Bruno. Isak to Pedro. Need to climb my mini league. No, I don't really like that, to be honest. Yeah, not keen on that move, really. Do you have to sell Semenyo? Isak is fine, and I don't think Bruno is worth taking a hit for, really. Pedro is a nice pick for sure, but I mean, I don't like that, Noel. I don't really like that move. Not for a hit. Can you just bench Semenyo and just play Isak? Isak's fine. If you have Rodgers on your bench, I think that's fine. Andreas says, any thoughts on Kirkes? Rumours about Liverpool signing. That would be crazy if it happened. I like Kirkes. I like Kirkes as a pick a lot. He's putting up some good attacking numbers recently as well. Created a nice big chance for Evan Nilsson last game week, which was good to see. Bournemouth, I think, one of those mid-table defences, more than capable of getting the odd clean sheet here and there. But Kirkes, let's tighten him up. I think he is, I don't know if he's getting better or worse for stats. What range should we use? 5 game weeks again, 6 game weeks, I don't know. Okay, 5 game weeks. So he's taking a shot every other game. So more than Mbermo. 1.6 key passes per game, 0.6 big chances created per game. Little bit of XA there as well per game. It's decent enough for a 4.4 million defender. We'll take it, right? It's good. FPL Victoria's Secret says, Dan, the plan is to move Chris Wood to Joao Pedro in game week 14. Move 1 week early or roll and stick to the plan. I would stick to the plan. If you've already missed the 2 price rises for Joao Pedro, I would just stick to the plan at this point. I think price changes would be the only real reason to move Joao Pedro to Wood a week early, because they're both similar. And to be honest, like, we don't know what's going to happen. Joao Pedro could have his minutes limited this week, or even next week. Could, you know, pick up a reoccurrence of his injury. More information is always better, and Wood is a really good pick this week still. Really good. Bulim says, won't the current drama around Salah's contract extension interview affect his performance? I don't personally think so. If you want to read into it to that degree, then fair enough. But that does strike me as kind of trying to find an agenda. And I know we're all guilty of it. I myself am very, very guilty of this. If I didn't have Salah in my team, I'd probably be saying, oh, well, I don't know. I just have a feeling that Man City are suddenly going to become good again this week. And Salah, with all the contract stuff going on, surely he's destined to fail. But it is all just agendas that you create for yourself to try and convince yourself one way or another, really. Try and look at it more objectively. I'm not going to overthink the Salah situation. He's in red-hot form, no pun intended. And Man City are just awful right now. And I don't think it needs to be too much more complicated than that, really. Can you run some stats on Joao Pedro? We can have a look at some Joao Pedro stats. And they're good, by the way. They're limited, but good. So, I don't know what you want to do. Per appearance, per start, per 90. And what range? Do you want to go from the beginning of the season? Go per 90 since the beginning of the season. So, over 2 shots per game. Per 90, sorry. 1.22 big chances per 90, which is really nice. 0.42 XG, decent. 0.31 XA, very decent. So, and when you combine them and get like a, what's that? 0.73 expected goal involvement per 90 for 5 point anything million is brilliant. Then you factor in the fixtures, and then we factor in penalties. It is giving us everything we kind of want from an FPL asset. Good price, good fixtures, good numbers. The only bad thing about Joao Pedro is maybe he's not quite a 90-minute man. I still think he does start every game, but I don't think he's a 90-minute man. Might become that as he gains more and more fitness, but you can't have it all. And to have all of that at 5.7 million would perhaps be too much to ask for, but still incredible. He ticks so many boxes really, really nicely. Joao Pedro, so phenomenal pick. Really, really nice pick. One of the players I'm most keen on. Probably the player I am most keen on this game week. Brilliant. Kenny says Saldinha for Pedro Porro. Absolutely not. Would not be touching Spurs defenders. Sid Vicious says -4 by Cunha and Saka for Haaland and Semenyo. Yep, makes sense. Makes sense. Konate replacements. We're going to do them again. How many times can we do Konate replacements in one stream? That's the question. Gabriel and Timber. Gabriel and Timber are the best Konate replacements. After that, you could maybe go for Aït-Nouri, Hall, Kirkes, Van Hecke for your cheaper players. Paredes says, must sell Gvardiol, thinking of double up Arsenal defence, adding Timber ahead of the curve, pairing him with already owned Gabriel. Thoughts? Yes. Timber would probably be my #1 defensive transfer target this week, so I like it, man. Any price rise on Timber soon? Yeah, he will go up in price within the next couple of days, I think. I think he goes up probably before game week 14. So you gotta be careful. Start Raya over Bruggen. I'd back Raya every game week, really. Main Man Dan says, hey Dan, I see you talk about Timber this week. How confident are you that Timber will be Ben White's starting 11 replacement till he returns from injury? Also, opinions on 2 Arsenal defenders. I love 2 Arsenal defenders. I think it's a good idea to have 2 Arsenal defenders. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I mean, Tomiyasu's still not available. I think Timber is the better player anyway. You know, Timber was signed for a lot of money to be the future of Arsenal, and he's finally got that opportunity to get regular minutes at right back. Even when Ben White is available, Timber's still going to play occasionally, well, maybe even more than occasionally at left back. So he's a pretty secure. We might see Thomas Partey play the occasional game at right back, but you know, it's no more significant rotation risk than you know your average Premier League player. So he's good. D News in the chat says, get him. He's Van Heck of a player. He is Van Heck of a player. Belima says, Chris Wood came off the bench last time. He did, yes. He just returned from international duty, was probably due a rest. Now he's had that rest, he should be good to go for future game weeks. But to be fair, you know, I hope Chris Wood owners do sell him, because advantage me, because Wood is a player I am fearful of not owning this game week. He's not a player I would buy, but he's a player I would like to have this week. I think if I was on a free hit, Wood would be in that free hit team. Konate to Timber, yes. Van Hecker or Digne? Van Hecker. Is Eze a shout as a replacement for Burma after this game week? I did have a look at that actually, potentially, yeah. Captain Pedro or Cunha? I prefer Pedro. Bruno and Timber or Saka and Greaves? That's really tough, man. If you have other defenders you can play each week, then I prefer Saka and Greaves. Ollie in the chat here says, hi Dan, Bowen or Gordon as a long-term and Burma replacement from next week? Currently I'm looking far more towards Bowen. But I don't have Burma, so like it's maybe more easy for me. But yeah, I'd be looking at Bowen over Gordon personally. But one more week to assess. It's against Arsenal, so we're probably not going to learn too much about Bowen. But right now, we do prefer him unless we see anything crazy from Gordon this week. I think that probably stays that way. Should I sell Mbermo for Maddison? No. I don't think Mbermo is a captain, but I don't think that makes him a sell. It is a good fixture still. So I am pretty negative on Mbermo, but not enough to sell him. Certainly not for Maddison, who isn't even guaranteed a start necessarily. I think, to be fair, Maddison is very, 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 very likely to start this week, but we'll see. Any info on Gabriel? We will never have any information on Arsenal players other than like actual proper leaks. Arteta never gives us information. It seems like the injury is not significant. And I personally think Gabriel will play. Serendipity says, hi Dan, Solanke or Wood to Pedro for a -4? No, I don't think I would sell either. If I had to do it, I would do Solanke to Pedro, but I don't think I would take a -4 for Joao Pedro necessarily. Who do I get in Konate's place? Oh, we're doing Konate replacements already. It's only been 4 minutes since the last Konate replacements. Should we just like maybe do a list of Konate replacements and then put it on screen? Can we do something like that? Let's do that. Then we can just leave it on the screen and then that will hopefully answer any questions. Okay. Let's make a Google Docs. Oh, that's not right. There we go. Right. Let's change the font to my usual League Spartan. A fantastic font. Put it in bold. Pump up this. Big, nice big text. Konate replacements. In order. That means we have to do an order now. So let's do a numbered list. Ta-da! Number 1. Let's put Timber in number 1. Then put Gabriel because of the slight injury doubt. Then after that, I'm gonna say Hall, Ait, Nori, then Kirkes, then Van Hecker. And after that, honestly, all right, let's also put here because people are going to ask about this. Konate is likely to be out for the next 8 game weeks. Consider replacing him with the following players. This should answer so many questions all in one. Can I ignore this one? And then what else needs adding to this? I'll put worth a hit. None of the others are. Or should we put some kind of divider in here? Now we'll just leave it like that. That is going to answer the question, right? Does that solve everything related to Konate? So we don't have to keep answering Konate questions? I think this solves it. There we go. Beautiful. Nice and big on the screen. Is Van Dijk not worth the extra 1 million? No. Yeah. Van Dijk. Where would I put him? Well, there's no Konate and Liverpool have bad fixtures. So, honestly, no. I don't think I would put Van Dijk on this list. No, I wouldn't. You know, I wouldn't. No, I'm not going to be convinced by this one. I don't like Van Dijk as a Konate replacement. This is a great opportunity to spend less money on defenders, not more, I think. Defenders are just not worth it, man. Kwanzaa at 4.3. Kwanzaa is 3. No, is he 4.3? No, isn't he 3.9? And no, he's probably not going to start. All right, I knew we'd have to add more information. Because I've had a lot of Kwanzaa-related questions as well. Joe Gomez is likely to play most games during this period, although it is possible Kwanzaa gets the occasional start. Neither player are worth considering, in my opinion. There we have it. See, I put this on screen. I put this, and it already in the chat says, Dan, Van Hecker or Timber? Like, it could not... Manti, I'm sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry. It's a yellow card for you. Read the screen, my friend. It's a yellow card, I'm afraid. One more and you are off. I'm trying my best out here. Right, have we covered everything related to Konate in this page now? All right. Venomous Man says, should I get Timber if I already have Raya? All right, we're gonna go even deeper. There's the questions run deeper apparently. So much to clarify. Scott says Johnson to Saka for a -4. Yours and Milton's thoughts. Milton is fast asleep, Scott, but Dan likes the transfer. I like it. Right. Okay, so we're still not done apparently. Would you still buy Timber and Gabriel even if you already have an Arsenal defender? The answer is yes. Okay, let's new paragraph. It is okay to double up on the Arsenal defence. And then someone's going to say, oh, does a goalkeeper count as a defender? Yes. Goalkeepers included. Right. Is that Is that everything covered? Or do you think there's still more questions? Scott says, can we do this for every player, please, Dan? It would make it easier. Christ alive. Would I triple up? No. I would not triple. I mean, to be fair, like, I don't mind tripling up that much, but I would like to keep Saka open, so I don't have a strong opinion on that one. Right, people want Colwill and Dallo and Mazraoui added to the list. I'm not adding them. I'm not adding them because I don't think, even if they did go on the list, they would be below what we have already. I feel like 6 options should be enough. If you don't like them, then why just... If you like another player, go for the other player, by all means. But Jackie Chan says, what is your hatred on Mazraoui? He's playing centre-back for a defence that is getting worse, and fixtures get worse from next week. So I think that's my hatred on Mazraoui. There's no hatred at all, really. It's just I don't think he's going to be a very useful FPL pick. Really. Aït-Nouri over Gvardiol this week. Yeah, I would play... Would I play Aït-Nouri over Gvardiol? Gvardiol does still have attacking threat, remember. I said maybe they're reasonably close. Is there a chance that Wood might get a red card if he chopped Timber? Very good. Very, very good. John Stevens says Dallo. If you would like to go for Dallo, or Virgil van Dijk, or Mazraoui, or other players, you know, some people like Petro Porro for some reason. If you would prefer these players, then fair enough. These are my definitive opinion. Right, let's add that because we're getting more questions. These... Oh, wait, we'll need smaller text. We need smaller text. Let's copy this. These are my favourites. If a player is not on this list and you prefer them, that is up to you. You will not get my endorsement. Do not pass go. Do not collect £200. Hopefully we're getting clearer by this point. Estupinian. If you want to go for a Estupinian, then go for him. I don't like him. I think he's rotation risk. I don't think he's been very reliable. I think he's injury prone. And I actually don't think that Brighton's defence are that good. But go for it, man, by all means. I mean, I can't lie. It's not pounds, it's dollars. Depends what region you bought your Monopoly kit in, to be fair. Noel said, I mean, I've got a Pokemon Monopoly, and that's in poker dollars. So, I don't know if they have a poker dollar symbol on my keyboard, but it varies from region to region. Noel says, Isaac to Pedro, everyone has him, so I want to catch. You won't catch anyone by copying the transfers of others. But I think Isak is fine. I've got no problem with Isak as an FPL pick. It's always Monopoly dollars. To be fair, the only Monopolies I've played recently are Pokemon Monopoly, which is in poker dollars. Naruto Monopoly, which is in yen, I believe. Is it in yen? So, who knows? If you would rather me... let's put poker dollars. Poker dollars... No. How do I do a dollar symbol on this keyboard? Pokey dollars. I'm doing this wrong. Do not collect 200 Pokey dollars. There we go. Right, Arik says, play Rodgers or Garnacho. I would play Rodgers, I think. Bro is the anime poly pro. True, if you count Pokemon as an anime, I suppose. JC says, love you, Dan. You bring some excellent comedy value to FPL while giving some top advice. I'm very, very glad to see it. Or hear it, I suppose. But yeah, try to keep things a little lighthearted. It's what helps me get through the pain of things. Why have I frozen, by the way? Oh, I know why I've frozen. Oh, I know what's happened here. Oh, it's happened again. It's happened again. It's the stupid, what are they called? Haptics on Apple machines, where if you put a thumbs up or like make certain actions, it tries to like put in like emojis on your screen, and as such, it's crashed my CPU. So, how do I fix this? Can I just go like this? Can I just turn my camera off and on again? Does anyone remember when this happened before, when the fireworks went off? I can't remember what I did to make the fireworks. No, that's not working. Right. What if I just close this? No. Oh. Can I reset the camera? Camera, come back. Please come back, camera. I miss you. I need you. I actually might have to reset the whole stream. Damn, man. That's rough. Or use a different device. We could use this other camera. It's not as good quality, but it's okay. Alright. We use the alt camera for the rest of the stream. You kidding me? Yeah, the other camera's cooked. We'll have to use this one now. All because of the stupid haptics. I need to just turn them off at this point. Alright, well, we're using alt cameras today. That's fine. Oh, is it me or is something wrong here? Yes. Very natural, Dan. I don't feel natural. I look bright orange in this camera. Because I haven't got any settings on it. Everything looks so colourful. Look at the colours. Wow. Why am I orange? I don't know. Red almost. Dan, do you think Ahmad is a good budget midfield option? Yes. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. I wouldn't be looking to play him that often, though. Fantasy Football Scout to Fantasy Football Hub for a -4. I would make that move personally, yes. But I am a big Hub fanboy, so... Dan, play Hall or Timber? Definitely Timber, but I would try and play both. Anna or Elsa? Are we doing Frozen references now? Anna or Elsa? I think I've watched that film maybe once in the background. I don't think I'm the target audience for Frozen, to be fair. I don't really know enough about Anna or Elsa to really make an appropriate judgment on that question. So, you know, transfer in whichever one you prefer. You're still in for Salah Captain? I am a Salah Captain man, yet to have my mind changed. Patrick, I don't think I am an alien. I hope I'm not. Bleep, bleep, bleep. No, I'm not. Dan, is Isak a good captain shout? I like it, man. I as a very outside bet. And if you're going to go for a weird captain, then this is the week to do it. But I personally would rather pick from Palmer, Salah, Saka, and maybe Joao Pedro. So there's a lot of great options this week. Isak is potentially one of them, but I don't think I'd be going there. So it's fine. If you really like Isak for a captain, then go for it. But not my preference. But that's maybe a preference. I've got Mazraoui, Aït-Nouri, Hall, and Timber. Pick 3. Mazraoui, Hall, Timber, bench Aït-Nouri. Who of Gabriel and Timber is predicted to get the most points this week? It will be Timber right now because Gabriel is flagged. But I think on the balance, if Gabriel starts, then it's Gabriel. Which I believe he will. Veltman punt? No. With no reason to go for Veltman over Van Hecker. You don't gain anything from doing it. Is next game week the midweek fixture? Yes, it is. Next deadline, so game week 14 deadline is on Tuesday. So do make sure you guys are remembering that. We will be streaming, of course, to try and get you a nice reminder in there. What are your thoughts about moving towards getting Haaland back in 18? I'm open to the idea, but I don't know. I'm not super keen. I guess we'll see what happens. If big things change over the next few weeks for Man City and Haaland, we'll have a serious look at it, but I don't think it's something we should be assuming that we will do. If everything stays as it is, then there's no real reason to move for Haaland. If it means sacrificing Salah, Palmer, Saka, who I just think are just better at the moment. Right, Mark says start Johnson or Rodgers. Johnson rotation risk. I would still start Johnson, I think. Rodgers is like Rodgers is a bench player. Like, you play him occasionally when the fixture is really good, but I think Rodgers is mostly a bench kind of guy. And then Dylan says best midfielder at 6.3 million or less. That's a really tough question, actually, because there really is not much going on. Let's have a look. See if we can use the points predictor tool to find some answers. Midfield 6.3 or less. This is why, by the way, guys, you need to get on Fantasy Football Hub. It's free right now as well. You want a player, you can say, okay, I need a midfielder. So you click on midfielder. I want the price to be 6.3 million or less. Ta-da. And then I want to be owning this player from Game Week 13 to, let's say, 18, for example. And then you can look through these players, and it just gives you a list of players, basically the players with the best numbers and the best fixtures right now. And it's saying Kulusevski, Rodgers, McNeil, Semenyo, Buonanotte. The fact that Semenyo, I know you're probably thinking, Dylan, excuse me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing you're looking for a Semenyo replacement. The fact that Semenyo, despite the fact we know he's going to get 0 points in Game Week 13, he is still considered the 4th best Semenyo replacement. So one of the best Semenyo replacements is Semenyo. Like, that is pretty crazy if you think about it that way. So if you are a Semenyo owner, I would try and keep him, unless you can make a significant upgrade to the likes of Saka, for example. May as well just keep him, man. Like, there's really not much out there at the cheap price tags at the moment. Really not that much. So there you go. The best Semenyo replacement is Semenyo. Preda says, will you start Martinelli versus Dina? Yeah. Back the attacker. Patrick says, will you play the Portuguese League fantasy? Your revenue would burst through the roof. I am not sure there is much of an English-speaking audience for Portuguese fantasy football, to be perfectly honest with you. Maybe I'm wrong. So I'm just seeing if I can fix my camera, but I can't. I'll have to fix it for next stream. No. Moko says, thoughts on Semenyo to Semenyo for no transfers used. I like that move a lot. A large amount. Benching headache, Vandenberg or Rodgers, please, Dan. Back the attacker, I would say. Should we do a bench list? What the hell was on top of the camera? That was my other camera's lens sticking out and retracting as I tried to fix it, but I've given up now. Okay. Bench list. We've left bench list a bit late today, haven't we? I want to do another poll. I want to do a poll of who is the best differential captain. So we've done, like, who is the best captain. Salah is out on top. Palmer is second. But whilst we're doing bench list, let's throw it on screen for you guys. We're going to do another poll to replace the old one. But Salah won the captain poll. Who is the best differential captain for Game Week 13. And we'll put in Joao Pedro. I'll put Wissa / Mbermo. Cunha. Or who else? People talking about. Can't really remember what kind of other players. Wood? You reckon Wood? Saka was on the last poll, so I'm not going to put Saka in there. You guys are saying Wood? All right, bet. He's in the poll. They're in the poll. Get your votes in. Who's the best differential captain? Haaland. That's a fair shout, to be fair. Haaland is going to be a super differential captain this week. Certainly among, like, engaged managers. Like, the only people captaining Haaland this week will be people who have forgotten to do their team. Irfan, thank you for the super sticker. Right, let's do the bench list, man. Who do you want to see on here? Tell me who you want on the bench list, and we will see. Oh, Bruno Fernandes would have been a shout. It would have been a shout. Right, so Son, Rodgers. Oh, Roger. Just a bloke called Roger. Hello, boys. My name's Roger. Can I play footy with the lads? No, Roger. I'm sorry, you can't. Please go home. Oh, come on. My son brought me down for the game and I've got me boots. Can I please play? No, Roger. You're not going on the bench list. In fact, Roger, you go on the bench list. You'll go at the bottom right there. There you go, Roger. Well, Roger is going to haul. I don't know, man. I don't know. Will he? Right, Robinson. I guess you put Robinson below, because Spurs are a really genuinely good attack. So I guess you put Rodgers there, Robinson there. Well, Roger on the mind. Ahmad would go here probably. Konsa. I would play Konsa over Vandenberg. I don't like Vandenberg that much. Hall would go here probably. And Burmo. See, Son is not exactly been in great form himself, so we'll put him. I kind of like Son in a way more than Mbermo. I'm going to put Mbermo here. Johnson can go here. Stupinian. If you have a Stupinian, I would start him like here. But please do not confuse me putting him high on the bench list for me saying you should buy him, because I do not think he is a player to buy. But if you, in fact, it is dangerous for me to put a Stupinian on the bench list. I'm not going there. It's just going to cause more problems than it's worth. So to the one Stupinian owner in the chat, yes, you play him this week. Van Hecker can go here. I'm going Welbeck captain this week. Thoughts, mate? I don't love it. I'm not gonna lie, but hey, it could pay off potentially. You never know. You never know. It could be okay. It could be not bad. Again, reminder. I'm gonna put Mazraoui on the bench list. Probably here, but that is not me saying that you should buy him. God, it's just a million clarifications I have to make here, isn't there? I don't need to put Veltman on there. I'm sure you can figure out from Van Hecker being on there that Veltman is in the similar boat, right? Just Brighton defenders in general. Will Kelleher start? I believe he will. Gvardiol. So Gvardiol, I would still try and play. If you're keeping him, I would play him. I would say. Lots of fine print on the bench list. I know, man. I know. It's honestly, I feel like I get stressed. More and more stressed when doing these lists because there's always so many little clarifications I have to make. Digne. I would try and avoid playing Digne this week if possible. Aina, I think is worth a start. Yeah, let's go there. Virgil van Dijk, I think is worth a start as well. Let's just put Van Dijk because people don't get confused. Bench Isak or Fernandes. We can put them both on the bench list. It's one of those weeks, isn't it? I would prefer to play Isak over Fernandes. Do I prefer Son to Fernandes? Do I prefer Mbermo to Fernandes? No, probably not. Rico Lewis. Yeah, Rico Lewis not super keen on. He would go here. Gabriel, you start 100% no matter what. If you have Gabriel, you just start him, I think. Pedro Porro. Would be maybe here. Somewhere there. Timber. Well, yeah, Timber goes right next to Gabriel. Don't you think Vandenberg is a pretty good shout this game week? No, I never think a Brentford defender is a good shout. Honestly, that Everton game is going to confuse a lot of people. Brentford are tragic defensively. They just got a great opportunity to play Everton, who are just as tragic in attack as Brentford are tragic in defence. Konate is injured, so it doesn't really matter where he goes. You can start him if you want. He ain't playing. Kirkes. All right. Kirkes is going to go here. No. Yes. Here. Like him. I like Kirkes. Garnacho. And Colwill. Garnacho and Colwill. So Colwill can go pretty low here, and Garnacho can go. He is rotation risk this week, big time. Garnacho, isn't he? Really? You know what? I'm actually going to drop down Rodgers a little bit. I'm going to drop him here. Garnacho would probably have to go around Ahmad, wouldn't he? Lewis Dunkes. Van Hecker's on there. You can probably figure the rest out. Kaoru Mitoma. Here. A few people have bought Mitoma, apparently. Kirkes or Gavardio to start. Both of them are on the bench list, my friend. But they are pretty close to one another. They are pretty close. All right, Smith Rowe. All right, and Buonanotte. Buonanotte I quite like for this game. It could be an interesting shout. I'm not going to put him on the bench list because he's too differential. But Smith Rowe should be on here. And he's going to go here. Text is getting small. We might have to get rid of Roger. Sorry, Roger. Scott says, on wildcard, is it worth adding Semenyo or wait to transfer in later? If you can just bench Semenyo for this week only, then yeah, there's no problem with putting Semenyo in your squad and just benching him for this week. Better than spending a transfer later down the line. So yeah, if you don't need him for game week 13, then I think he's fine to keep in your squad and just bench him. Strand Larson. If you have him, you probably play him ahead of a lot of players. Erdegaard on the list. Maybe here. Maybe there. Joao Pedro is not going in there. Semenyo is going down in price tonight, though. What are you going to do, man? 0.1 million or -4, essentially, because of the value of the transfer. I take the points. If someone offered you right now, you gain 4 points, but you lose 0.1 in team value, you probably take it, don't you? 0.1, man. It's nothing. Dan, what's the latest on Neto, and is there minutes risk with Sancho? I think there's always going to be minutes risk for this Chelsea side, but Neto is back and available, which is good. Yes, that is Brennan Johnson there. Should I put Brennan Johnson, there you go. Smith Rowe or Rodgers for the bench. Both of those players are on the bench list. Where is Trent on the list? If you do still have Trent, then he can go in somewhere like here. Or, no, let's put him next to Van Dijk. Nicholas Jackson. And I think it's pretty obvious that you would play Jackson this week. I don't think there's too much debate whether you should play him or not. FPL fella says, what meat do you have on Christmas Day? Controversial one. Chicken. I have chicken on Christmas Day, not turkey. Because if turkey was so amazing, then people would have turkey all year round. But they don't. They don't, do they? They eat chicken all year round. And then it gets to Christmas and they're like, oh, well, we should probably have some turkey. It's that time of year. But you don't like the turkey, do you? If you like turkey, you would have it the whole year round. But you don't. So just have chicken. And that is my God's honest opinion on Christmas Day meat. Turkey tastes like chicken. Turkey tastes like worse chicken. And everyone knows it. But people are like, but it's tradition. Fine. You eat the worst food for the sake of tradition. If that's what you're into, do your thing. You go off, king. But, nah. We'll see. Yeah, but that's also because a turkey costs like 50 quid. Spend your £50. Spend your £50 on the turkey. I'll have a chicken for £5.50. A lovely chicken for £5.50, might I add. FPL Victoria's Secret says, my wife wants a dog for Christmas. I usually make gammon, but that's her choice. Honestly? Dog for Christmas? Better than turkey. Chicken is cheaper. It tastes better. Less food waste. If you are like for a, you know, making food for a smaller family. I'm all about my chicken, and the same for you Americans out there who are doing the Thanksgiving thing. When is Thanksgiving? Has that passed? Is Thanksgiving been and gone yet? I swear, like there's just a outside of the US, like nobody knows when Thanksgiving is. I think it's vaguely in November, right? It was yesterday. Wow, that recent. Yeah, you eat turkey then, though, right? But okay, all right, okay. Question for Americans. I know we're off topic a little bit here. We all get back on topic, don't worry. Question for Americans. If you have turkey at Thanksgiving, what do you eat on Christmas Day? Is there a different one? Let me know. Okay, turkey on Thanksgiving, ham for Christmas. I rate that, to be fair. Ham for Christmas. Very nice. Tyler says steak. Glenn says more turkey. Harris says chicken. Alright, now I'm really confused. So you just have like whatever on Christmas Day. Whatever tickles your fancy. I think in the UK it's traditional to have turkey on Christmas Day. Beef on Christmas. You guys need to get some more strict traditions. You're fine with having a traditional Thanksgiving meal, but no No traditional Christmas meal? I mean, I know turkey is not a great meat, but at least there is some, like, idea of a tradition there. Pigeon. Whatever you want, even fish. Fish! Fish on Christmas Day. I can imagine, like, if you're from, like, Norway. Yeah, you guys say in the chat. Norway, fish. That sounds normal. I can imagine Norwegians eating fish on Christmas Day. But an American... Wow. Right, should we get back on topic? We can circle back to this conversation. We can circle back. What am I looking for? We can circle back at the end of the stream. But are we good for the bench list right now? Is this looking good? I'm not going to put Dunk. Okay, I don't think Dunk is actually going to play, so I don't think I really want to put him on the bench list. Filipinos do fish on Christmas Day. What about the Filipinos? Do they do fish as well? Or just the Filipinos? But again, yeah, get it. I get it. Any Brighton team leaks? We very rarely get Brighton team leaks. Very, very, very rarely. From Brighton. I mean, I'll have a look to see if we've got anything. But I really doubt it. Really doubt it. Yeah, no Brighton team news. Sorry. How's the missus doing in FPL? She's not playing this year. She said it's too stressful. Odegaard, if you can't afford Saka, I would make efforts to try and afford Saka rather than get a player you don't really want to try and cover. I want Greaves and Mikalenko on the bench list. Crikey. Okay. We are bin dipping now, aren't we? Mikalenko can go... here? Maybe there? And Greaves... Wait, to be fair, Ipswich do play Forest. That could be worse. But you're still not going to play him realistically. Like, nah. Let's be real here. The 4 million defenders go right at the bottom of this list. That's why they're 4 million defenders. Let's be real. Welbeck and Raul Jimenez. All right, this bench list is getting juicy. Raya or Verbruggen? Raya every time. We'll put them both on. And we'll put Flecken down here as well. Right, let's get back to business. And by the way, Fabianski goes at the bottom of this list. Okay. Welbeck and Raul Jimenez. So Welbeck you play. Maybe even above Isak. Raul Jimenez... maybe a little lower, but not super low. I still think he's like okay. Rutter or Delap? Neither. There's so many players, can't read it anymore. Yeah, we need to do a culling. We need to cull some players. Right, Ahmad, you can go away. You're too differential. No one owns Alexander-Arnold anymore. Who else is fit for the cull? Odegaard, culled. Mostly just defenders on here, isn't it? Who else is fit for the culling? Mazraoui. Fair amount of people own Mazraoui. We need at least one Brighton defender on there. If that's readable, I'm gonna leave like that. I think the bench list is done. There we go. Consider Son. Yeah, Son could maybe be moved. Nobody owns Strand Larsen. I think they do, to be fair. I think because a lot of people follow Let's Talk FPL, and he brought him in, didn't he? Whenever a big content creator brings in a player, they're always going to get a decent amount of hype on YouTube. It's no one's fault, it's just the way it is. So it seems like the overall player base, maybe Strand Larsen isn't super owned, but within the context of FPL YouTube, I think a lot of people do own Strand Larsen. Right, sells would go for me here. No one is benching the top 5, in my opinion. I think you'll be surprised. You remove Trent, yellow card. Scott, wind your neck in, son. You do not give me yellow cards. I give you a yellow card, and that's your first. Scott, one more and you're off, my friend. Don't talk back to the referee. Focal has Strand Larsen as well. There you go. Couple of YouTubers bring in a player. Hype. Hype, hype, hype. Will Konate start? Yes, Konate will start in January. In Gameweek 25. Then Konate will start. Until then, he's in a little bit of trouble. Moko says, I hope you lose your referee job. Well, that's a yellow card for you as well, my friend. Honestly, we can go all day. I've got plenty of yellows to give out. And I'm not afraid of showing a red. I'm not afraid at all. Blizzard says, push Mazraoui higher. Higher than who? Gvardiol, Porro, Aina, Van Dijk, Hall. I mean, he's not going above the Arsenal guys. For me, he's not above Hall. He has got a decent chance of a clean sheet, but there's not really very much attacking threat. And I don't think he's guaranteed a start either. There is an argument to put him above these guys, to be fair. You know what? I'll allow it. I will allow it. I will grant you the request of Mazraoui being pushed up. He can go up 2 spots. That's it. That's all he's doing. That's all he's going. Pope. People have Nick Pope. Crazy. Okay. Against Crystal Palace, I would put Nick Pope here. Mohamed, I'm captaining Salah. I don't know if that helps. A lot of people are captaining Palmer as well. So I would go for one of Salah and Palmer out of your captain options there, my friend. Which 2 keepers would you recommend for a wildcard draft? Verbruggen and Fabianski. Why don't we have a Stupinian in there? 2 differential. But he would be like, I don't know, he'd be pretty high if you have him already. I'm not giving people yellow cards just for requesting a yellow card. You're going to have to misbehave if you want a yellow card. That sounds like I'm encouraging misbehavior. I'm not. That's just how it works. That is just the way it works. Robert Sanchez. I probably would play some of these other guys instead of Sanchez, but no, he's not a bad keeper. Or Bobby Sanchez. Ralph for Pedro. Yep, for free. I don't mind that move at all. I like that move. Delap's not. No more players on the bench list. I think it's too full up. We'll add goalkeepers, but no more. Delap would not be that high though, really, for me. Would asking for Konate replacements count as misbehaving? No, it wouldn't, unless the Konate replacements were already on the screen. So there you go. Do you reckon Luis Diaz will be benched this week, Dan? Yeah, I kind of do. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens there, but it's not looking good, Brev. Brighton lineup, please. I will tell you in 30 minutes' time the exact Brighton lineup. Wait, is it 30 minutes' time? Yeah. Why did you start this channel? Because I like FPL and I like YouTube, so I thought. Is Joao Pedro starting? I don't think we're gonna get Brighton team news. They keep things very tight for team news, but I would imagine so. I don't see why not. Seems a pretty straightforward one to play him this week. Didn't play the full game last game week between fixtures, no midweek European stuff. So it should be fine. Yanish, yes, I do this full time. I know, crazy. Who's paying me? Ugh. You guys, by watching the ads. Thank you for that. And watching the ad. Oh, by the way, actually, we'll do it after the. We'll do it after the deadline because I want to do it as well. We'll come back to this. Right. Do you really think Strand Larsen is below Mbermo? Yes, I do. Like Bournemouth are not like mugs. Like they're fine. They're a fine team. I think with Cunha specifically, like he's in such good form that you back him against anyone. But like Strand Larsen is just an okay player against an okay team. There's nothing really special going on there in terms of FPL. FPL specifically, I mean. James says, do you think City will show up to spite Liverpool and keep the others in the race? I'm sure City would love to do that. But, you know, we can say, oh, you know, will City decide to play well this game? They've probably been deciding to try and play well every game recently. But if you're not quite at it, then you're not quite at it, are you? Start Evan Nilsson or Brennan Johnson? I would start Evan Nilsson. Power out, Timber in, -4. It's okay. I don't love it. Greaves or Robinson to start. Both players are on the bench list. I would say in general, Vandenberg and Greaves, you just bench every week, pretty much. Start Fass or Lewis. Lewis, I imagine. I hope City wins, but 4-3, Salah hat-trick. Are you a City fan? Didn't know that. Who makes your graphics? Are you alone or do you have a team? I am alone. I am a lone warrior, a lone man on the FPL Mate channel. You can only imagine how long this takes. The UK Dream says, show your team, please. Final. Show your final team, please. This is the show team gang. Any members in the chat? If so, please do spam the show team gang emoji if you are a member of the channel. I would like to see. I'm an Arsenal fan. That makes sense. Get the show team gang emojis in because they have arrived. There we go. Spam them as much as you want. I don't care. Well, I'm full permission for spamming the show team gang emoji. They have arrived and they are ready for a spoon feeding. Shall we get our giant spoon? Where's my spoon? There are children to feed. That's really creepy. Why did I say that? He has to wait till game week 38 to see your final team. Fair point. Fair point. It do be true. Oh, Paredes wants the telephone, though, and there's no one calling right now. Jack says I'm captain in Saka. Daniel says captain Timber. Come on, man. Let's be real. Let's be real. No one's going to captain a defender this season. This is not the season for defenders. Ahmad or Rogers? I would probably, if I had both, I would probably play. I don't know. I'd probably play Rogers, I think, if I had both. Start Eze or Bowen? Probably Eze this week, if I had both. Dunk will start. I'm not convinced. Dunk will start. I think he will come back into the starting 11 soon. I think he will at least be in the squad this week. Well, tonight. But I don't know for sure if he will be here. Lewis above Vandenberg. Yeah, everyone goes above Vandenberg. Alexander-Arnold, will he start? I think he will, yeah. I think. Wissa or Joao Pedro? I prefer Joao Pedro. Ahmad or Bruno? Bruno for sure. Wood? Yeah, Wood. You 100% play Wood. He's great. Is Mitoma starting? We will find out in 22 minutes. Who is your captain? My captain is Salah. Let's end this differential captain poll, by the way, because Joao Pedro absolutely dominated this one. So if you're looking for a differential captain, looks like Joao Pedro is the guy. He is the guy. Sell McNeil to Mitoma for a -4? No, not for a -4. Hall or Erdegaard to start. Always back the attacker. Always back the attacker. Within reason. Start Rodgers or Smith Rowe? Smith Rowe. Paredes says, my captain is Haaland. Did you forget to do your team or something, my friend? Haaland, captain, in Gameweek 13. Can't believe it. Why is no one talking about Saka captain? They are. He's my number 3 captain, I would say. Probably the 3rd best captain in my personal order of preference. He's very high. Like him a lot. Dan, everyone is talking about Jackson's 4 yellow cards. Like Diego Costa a couple of seasons ago, but he kept on scoring goals and FPL points. Same all over again. I believe Jackson is the better pick. Compared to who, though? I agree that Jackson is a great pick. I think people overestimate the value of yellow cards' potential suspension. It is something worth noting. It's something worth talking about, but it's not something that you should reinvent your team because you're so fearful. If you think he's better than Isak, fair enough. I think it's pretty tight between the two players. I don't lean either way particularly strongly. I think they're both great. When you consider their prices as well, I slightly prefer Isak, but I acknowledge that's just personal preference. Colin says, show your team and you'll probably get more watches, mate. Wow, the show team gang are going crazy right now, aren't they? I swear, I'm ordering a giant spoon on Amazon right now. I'm doing it right now. Amazon for the giant. It's Amazon week as well. Giant spoon prop. £30 for a giant spoon. Oh no, these are not props. These are. Is it worth spending £37 on a giant spoon? I don't know if it is. I'm sure I've got some fairly large spoons downstairs. All right, fine. All right, fine. No more bench list. Right, what else? Okay, so quick note on Konate. Take a screenshot. It will last longer. This is my team. I mean, I literally said what I was going to do, like, in yesterday's video. Is there any reason to not start Art Nori? Because Bournemouth is not that great of a fixture. It's a pretty interesting one. People are making some strange captain's shouts in the chat. 5 minutes before deadline, Amazon for giant spoon. Let's go. I know, priorities, right? Someone super chat this guy £37. Mate, super chat me £37 and I'll buy the spoon. I need to check out if the spoon is legit first, of course. But I will buy a giant spoon. Or find one in the house. Can you get one of those baby medicine spoons? You could do. Like a little spoon for a little baby. Here, let's give you a little spoon feeding right now. There you go. Start Trent or Mikalenko? Trent. Cooking ladle. That works. That works. What is a giant spoon? Alvaro, use your imagination, my friend. It's exactly what it means. But it would be an interesting prop for the spoon feeding that we have to do for the show team gang. Like, I'm happy for people to copy my team to a degree. Am I happy with it? Not really. Actually, that's a lie. I'm not happy with it. It's like something that I accept. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to mock you a bit if you are just copying a team. Carter says, can I be a little spoon? If you would like to, my friend. Not for me. You can't be my little spoon, but, you know, go off, king. Would you captain in Burma if you had him? No, not a chance. There would be no chance I would do that. Irfan says, Dan, should I hold Watkins and a 4.5 forward or sell for Joao Pedro and Cunha? I would have to take a hit. If you need both, then to play, you know, if you're stuck with a Semenyo or a Rodgers that you're having to play this week, and taking that -4 will allow you to bench Semenyo or Rodgers, for example, then I think I would take the hit and I would do it. I think I would. How many clones do you have? It's difficult to say. In the top 1 million rank, I think it's a few thousand. But I think a lot of them will probably be coincidence because my team is reasonably template, I would say. My wildcard team is reasonably template. But there is a significant amount. Why I ignore it if Kirkes was higher on the list? Because I own Cunha and I'm doubling down on Wolves. It's a strategic play rather than Kirkes being a better or worse pick, to be fair. Let me just make sure my team is finalised. And I'll need to take a quick screenshot on my phone as well. There we go. Right, because the deadline's about to pass, guys. Irfan, hopefully you can make that -4 hit in the last few seconds because the deadline is about to pass. I'm going to blow this whistle, by the way. This is your whistle warning. I am about to blow the full-time whistle for the deadline passing. Any second now. Any transfers you're making right now, you need to hurry up because we got seconds until deadline. Seconds. And there we have it. Full time. The deadline has passed. Was that loud? I don't know how loud that was. Hopefully it wasn't too crazy loud. But there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are locked in. We are locked in for a new game week. And now it's FPL Mate Chill Out 15 minutes. For 15 minutes until we find out the final Brighton team when that is revealed. Bro, buy a new whistle, please. No, I like this whistle. It's nice and cheap and pretty terrible, actually. But anyway, I've got double Brighton, by the way, for this first game. Like, how is that going to go? I'm so curious. Hopefully Verbruggen can actually keep the clean sheet this week. Stress, man. Last week. The 94th minute clean sheet wipeout. Get an air horn instead. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Why can I still change my team? You can't. Alvaro says, best of luck, Dan. Best of luck to you as well, Alvaro, my friend. And by the way, guys, if you are leaving the stream now, please do drop a like before you go. And subscribe as well. But we are staying here until team news. So we're going to stay for another 15 minutes. And we can chat about anything for 15 minutes. My dogs went wild when you blew that whistle. Apologies to the dogs. Apologies to the dogs. Right, let's talk business here. Let's talk business. Turkey on Christmas Day, yes or no? Who's your captain? Salah. And we need to get back to Thanksgiving. Why is there not a specific meat to have on Christmas Day in the United States of America? Why? You guys are saying you don't have turkey on Christmas Day. It's overrated. I agree. You're right. What do you have instead? Beef Wellington. The kids hate turkey, too dry. The second part, I agree with. Turkey is too dry. Terrible. Terrible meat. Awful. Turkey and ham for both Christmas, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Ham I can get behind. I can get behind a bit of ham. It's decent. Turkey goes better with cranberry juice than chicken or cranberry jam. Cranberry juice, cranberry jam. Okay, but like, why are you making decisions based on the condiment? That's like saying, I really fancy some ketchup today. You know, I've got a hankering for some ketchup. What meat would go well? What food would go well with some ketchup? Because I'm feeling like it's a ketchup kind of day. You're starting with a condiment and ending with a meat. That's all wrong. That is all wrong. Come on, man. Andrew has beaver. Most based Canadian in the chat. A lot of people do have turkey if it's not dry. If it's not dry, if cooked correctly. Oh, so we've got the big chef in the house. I mean, I get it. I'm sure like some people have the ability to cook turkey very, very well if they spend enough hours on it. But come on, chicken is, you know, easy. It's cheaper. It's tastier. It's less. There's less chance of it going wrong. If you told Gordon Ramsay to choose between chicken and turkey, he would pick chicken. Maybe. Be careful not to insult your wife's cooking now. We have chicken. We're a chicken family. We're a chicken family. David says never back the early kickoff. No, that's tomorrow. The early kickoff is the 12:30 tomorrow. That's literally the point of turkey. The condiment is the taste. The turkey is the texture. Oh my word. Turkey is more of a terrible meat than I thought. People are eating turkey knowing that it tastes bad because they want the dry texture to supplement it with cranberry jam. And by the way, whilst I'm on the topic, because I ain't done, like, turkey with any kind of jam or sweet thing. Like, this is... Are we not in pineapple on pizza territory here? I personally take offense, big offense actually, to sweet things. You know, applesauce with... Some people have applesauce with, like, pork, maybe. Why are we mixing things that don't need to be mixed? Why are we putting sweet things on savoury stuff? Why are we putting cranberry jam on turkey? Why are we putting pineapple on pizza? This is all backwards. Max says I like pineapple and pizza. Check this guy's hard drive, man. Jack Daniels says 100% has to be gravy. Jam has no place on the plate. Agreed, Jack. Agreed. Sweet and sour chicken? No. No. I like you, Dan, but I disagree. Cranberry sauce with turkey is amazing. Well, check your hard drive as well. Come on, man. Let's not be stupid. Do you also have like a scoop of ice cream on your turkey as well? What? Why in there? 2 spoons. Okay, right. You got your turkey, lovely turkey. Add some cranberry jam. Why don't add some strawberry jam as well? Couple of spoonfuls of sugar on there, 2 dollops of ice cream, and you're good to go. Why not? What? Honey glazed bacon. Terrible idea. Why? Just cranberry and turkey is fairly... I'm not doubting that it's common. I'm doubting whether it's good. Vanilla ice cream with turkey. There you go. Not a bad idea. Go for it, man. Why not? Why not? It's chaos out here. We're mixing sweet with savoury. We're doing whatever you want. You want a bit of chocolate cake on the side of your turkey? Why not? You know, make a turkey and I don't know, turkey and chocolate spread sandwich. Yeah, why not? Chocolate spread and turkey sandwich. It's nice. We're just mixing sweet and savoury. Everything's fine. Crazy. Scott did with a super chat here. Thank you very much, Scott, by the way. $9.99 super chat. What legends. Soon fund for the show team gang. The States is a nation of immigrants, so you'll see Greeks eat lamb. Yeah, all good. Italians eat fish. Big fan. On Christmas Eve. My fam does beef tenderloin or prime rib. Some repeat TG meal, Thanksgiving meal. Okay. So you got all kinds. You got a mix going on. That's fair enough. Like, I didn't know before, really, that it was like Thanksgiving, you have your traditional meal. And Christmas is a free-for-all. Because it's not the same in the UK. So, I guess thank you for educating me. I appreciate that. Kabalash says, I will give you the correct answer. Turkey is a worse version and dry version of chicken. Chicken is the goat. Kabalash, you, my friend, are spot on. David says, cheese and onion crisp with a chunk of dairy milk. It'll blow your mind. Hard drive, check, now. Ridiculous. I'm sure at this point you're just trying to annoy me. Thoughts on bread sauce? Bread sauce I can back a little bit more because it is a savoury sauce. I'm not even going to tell you what I put mayonnaise on. That sounds... pause. Okay. Right. Forget that sentence. But... like, in a normal food-related way, I am guilty of putting mayonnaise on certain foods that maybe ordinary people would not necessarily put mayonnaise on. Foods, specifically. Nothing more sinister than that. Oh, Scott says this is meant to be for the spoon. This is the spoon fund. Okay, all right, Scott. Thank you very much, my friend. I will reinvest this in a giant spoon for next stream. Thank you very much, my friend. But no, like, put mayonnaise on the ham. Yeah, all about it. Mayonnaise with fish. All about it. Mayonnaise on a roast. 100%. Mayonnaise on cornflakes. No, because that is crossing the sweet and savoury barrier that is sacred and never should be crossed, in my opinion. Mayonnaise on pizza. Absolutely. Lovely stuff. Leftover turkey sandwich with heavy with mayo. It needs to be heavy with mayo because turkey is a very average meat. Mayonnaise, quite frankly, saves the turkey. It really does. Mayonnaise on spaghetti. You're not going to like this, but yes, I do have mayonnaise on top of a spaghetti bolognese. I like it. It's my thing. It is not crossing the sweet and savoury barrier. I think it is fine. I think it's okay to have mayonnaise on a spaghetti bolognese meal. Or a carbonara, it's fine as well. Any pasta dish, mayonnaise, beautiful. Squirty mayonnaise all over. You think that's criminal? You think that's disgusting? That's your opinion. That's your opinion. I like it. I think it is valid because we're not crossing the sweet and savoury boundary. It's fine. Like, it's just a combination of two nice, savoury foods. White sauce goes with mayonnaise. Red sauce doesn't, mate. What is white sauce? Do I want to know? Mayo on chips works well. Agreed. Jail time needed for that. Come on, man. It's not that bad. Italians would give you life in prison. Bring it on, man. Bring it on. No, do not check my hard drive for having mayonnaise on spaghetti bolognese. It's nice. I like it. You know what else? Mayonnaise is really nice on. You're not going to like this one. If you didn't like the spaghetti bolognese mayonnaise, you're not going to like this one. Mayonnaise. Do you ever get like a Chinese takeaway? Yeah, with the chow mein noodles, a little bit of chicken in there, some of the mixed vegetables, of which names elude me right now, like the bean stuff. Oh, mayonnaise all over that bad boy. I'm not even joking. That's the thing. I'm not even joking. I am all about it. Like mayonnaise, get it on my chow mein right now. on the spaghetti bolognese, on the chow mein. The only savoury food I think I wouldn't put mayonnaise on is probably like Indian food. That's probably the only exception. Like I think you could probably name any outside of Indian food. foods that, you know, I actually know about and actually eat. You could probably name any food that, and I probably put mayonnaise on it, like every time without fail. Like, okay, right, here's another one for you. This is probably one of the worst ones. It's along a similar vein. Do you guys, I don't know where you're from in the world, but do you guys have like pot noodles, like in a pot? Like in a, like a, I don't know, it's made of plastic, I guess. So it's like dry noodles, like ramen noodles in a pot, and you add the boiling water to it. Give it a mix to get your lovely noodles in there. It's like really like a cheap, quick uni meal type thing. Mix it up, and before eating, just a bit of mayonnaise. Little bit of mayonnaise in there. Nice. Express noodles, is that's what they're called in your area of the world. Wow, you've drawn the line on curry. Yeah, I've drawn the line. I draw the line at curry. Any kind of instant noodle, mayonnaise, man, mayonnaise. Mayo on biryani? No, sir. No. Do not put mayonnaise on Indian food. It's already too saucy. You can't add more sauce to the sauce. Does it curdle? A little bit, yeah. I can't lie. In Korea, they add cheese to instant noodle. Yeah, that's exactly what I do as well. Grated cheese in there. Let it melt inside of the noodles with the mayonnaise. Mayo on your crisps? I would dip a crisp in mayonnaise, yeah. I would dip. There's no sauce in biryani. Oh wait, what's a biryani? Am I thinking of something else? Is that something vegetables? I wouldn't put mayonnaise on a korma. That feels wrong. Because it's just like sauce on top of sauce. Baba G Day says, I won't put mayonnaise on anything. Man, you're missing out. I will put it on anything. Pause. I'll put it on any food that is savoury except from Indian food. That is the only exception. That's gross. Mayo on noodles. Try it, man. Try it, man. Dan, Naruto would chase you further than Sasuke for that drop of mayo. I would chase anyone for any amount of mayonnaise. It's the best. There's sort of a sauce with Chinese and noodles. Not really. It's reasonably dry, I would say. Like a chow mein dish is reasonably dry. Right, team news. I sometimes I have to just remind myself that this is an FPL YouTube channel. But there we go. Right. Brighton and Hove Albion. I'm gonna have to go manually to their page, aren't I? Right, so Joao Pedro's on there. That's the first bit of good news. Dunk is on the bench, as I suspected. Is that no... Where is... Okay. Is that no Veltman either? Even, like, in the squad? No Veltman in the squad? Is there an issue there? What's going on there? Right, well, I hope not many of you guys went for Veltman. To be fair, we were advising against him. But here's the lineup anyway. So it'd be Verbruggen in goal, Lamptey right back, then Van Hecke, Igor in centre back, Estupinian left back, and then we've got like O'Reilly there, Ayari, and then further up the field, Mittermart on the left, Jorginho, Rutter on the right, Joao Pedro behind Welbeck. There you go. Wifer benched as well. Adingra is there on the bench. Minter on the bench. Cool, okay. So unless you're a Veltman owner or a Dunk owner, like pretty good news, generally speaking. Let's check out Southampton. I'm gonna have to type the whole damn thing out. March not in the squad, no surprise there. Right. Lumley, Sugawara, Harwood Bellis, Stevens, Walker, Peters, Manning. So 5 at the back. Flynn Downs and Fernandez in midfield. And then 3 forwards, Dibbling, Armstrong and Archer. Okay. So no Fraser at the back. And it's a 5 at the back formation with presumably Walker Peters playing slightly more centrally. Unless one of Sugawara and Manning presumably will be playing a little bit further forward. Okay, right. Well, there you have it, guys. New goalkeepers. Oh, Lumley, yeah, good point. New goalkeeper. Well, not new goalkeeper. He was already part of the squad. But, yeah, I think we just probably assumed that McCarthy would be playing in the absence of Ramsdale. But there we have it. Lumley as the goalkeeper today. How will he fare in the baptism of fire that is Joao Pedro? Let's find out. Right, cool. Guys, we're going to leave it there because I am going... you know what? Coincidentally, I am actually going for some Indian food tonight. I'm meant to be at the Indian in like half an hour, so I need to hurry up. And guess what? Condiment I will not be having with my Indian food tonight. It's mayonnaise. There will be no mayonnaise tonight because I don't have mayonnaise on Indian food. But guys, thank you so much for watching today, guys. Really appreciate you. Leave a like before you disappear. Do subscribe if you haven't done already. Good luck with your teams this game week. Enjoy the football. And I'll be back probably Sunday for another video, to be fair, because game week's coming thick and fast. Yeah, we're going to have to speed things up pretty fast. So, yeah, guys, I will see you very, very soon for more FPL videos. And I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.